Hello, welcome everyone to The Secret Life of Rabbis. I'm here, of course, with Rabbi Shaw, CEO of Mizrahi UK, and the former community rabbi of Stanmore, and the perennial barometer of whether things are going well or not in Stanmore. It was better or worse than Rabbi Shaw's days, so you are the official yardstick.
I'm honored or scared by that, but there we go.
Amazing. Let's get to the very beginning. Why did you become a rabbi? I guess a bit of background, and then
funny enough, that question is actually the answers. And why did you start Mizrahi? Because it's the same answer. Because I never dreamed of becoming a rabbi. That was not my chosen career. Becoming a professor, and that was going to be an accountant. My dad was an accountant, brother was a lawyer. I was going to follow in that sort of thing. And then I went to yeshiva. Yeshiva Kotel after school. Gap year. And again, even during that gap year, even though inspired as I was, I went back for Elzman and Sevey Connected. Again, nothing to change my sort of accountancy sort of dream. I got to Leeds University. And at Leeds, basically what happened was I suddenly became, the rabbi on campus because people came and asked me questions. My friends would say to me, so why do you keep Shabbat? Why do you keep Kashrut? And I found this incredible. For me, it was amazing that I, who knew very little, was this inspiration towards people who knew even less than me. Also realized in many ways that what I thought was lacking in Anglo-Jewry were rabbis who actually were part of the modern world, raised in Bnei Akiva, whatever it was. And therefore I said, you know what, I'm going to change my career choice from accountancy to become a rabbi. And in fact, that's why I say Mizrahi, because that's exactly what we're trying to do now. Mizrahi with our fellowships is to find the next generation of sort of rabbis that grew up in Bnei Akiva, grew up in United Synagogue, went to university, and therefore, some of them, of course, from Stanmore, we had two wonderful rabbis came out of Stanmore, James Poop and Sam Taylor, who both actually, again, to my mind was their reason for changing career was because they became youth directors, saw the potential in what they could do. So it's all about, I think, giving leadership roles to our young people, and hopefully some will eventually rise to become leaders. And that's why I came.
There we are. We had Rabbi Barry Leris say more or less the same, actually. His moment was, he was the youth director, I think, in the suburbs.
Yeah.
That was his kind of like breakthrough moment. Okay, moving on to your own experiences, most meaningful moment. I'm sure there've been many. Can I ask you to pick one?
Thank God. Oh my goodness, there have been so many. I mean, and it has to be a Stanmore moment because it probably would be. I think the 15 years there produced so much joy for me. I mean, a lot of frustrations working in a show, of course, but so much joy. But I think actually I really have to pinpoint one. It wasn't the event itself, which was amazing. It was what it had led to that over so many years. It was Shavuot, Tikkun Leil Shavuot, 2000 and something. It was on a Motzei Shabbat. And I'd worked very hard the weeks leading up to it to say to people in the community, and these are people who I'd got to know over the years, through either the kids, through Chaim Potter or their parents, through programs and Limud service, all the stuff we'd done to kind of reach out to the broader community. And Tikkun Leil Shavuot, in my early years in Stanmore, was basically 20 men coming to someone's house and, eating some cake and falling, whatever. It wasn't, meaning it was great, but no one else wanted to go. Who wants to step on it and learn? And that year, I basically sold it to the Chevra to say, this is something different. It's a Motzei Shabbat. You're not going to work the next day. You can stay up all night. It's okay. And I really pushed it. We're going to have dinner after shul before we start learning. And we had over 200 people who came that first year to Tikkun Leil Shavuot. And I remember walking into shul for Ma'ariv, and one of the members of the shul, who I'll say in a nice way, was not a big fan of sort of the stuff I was doing, but he just said to me, he says, Andrew, this is incredible. To see people in Ma'ariv first night Shavuot, when normally you'd have like 20, 30 men, having 200 people in shul, it wasn't just the event, it was the fact that it had shown that you inspire people and connect to people and make Yiddishkeit relevant to them. If you build it, they will come. And that really was the night I saw, both kids and parents, we had about, I think, nearly 70, 80 youth and about 200 plus parents. Amazing. It was a wonderful, wonderful night. So that was one of my most inspiring.
Amazing. Beautiful.
And mornings.
Am I allowed to ask the most embarrassing moment?
Yeah, that's also This is a great one. I haven't told this to many people, but it's one of the things that the Rabbi Cohen asked me to do when I first started was to help him out with the pastoral, sort of some of the the weddings and bar mitzvahs. If he was out of town, could I step in and whatever? So obviously, I'd far more enjoyed stepping into bar mitzvahs and weddings than I did to funerals and stone settings. And weddings were amazing. I love weddings. The problem was, as you know, with the people that we marry within our synagogue, they're not all observant. And therefore, you know, you have some difficult conversations to try and make sure that certain things are observed in weddings. So I met this young couple and we were talking, and I said to the young lady who I was going to, I said, listen, it's important you're getting married in the shul. I'm not sure what your dress is, but please make sure that your shoulders are covered. It's what I was told to say. That's what I was told to say. You know, you're meant to tell them that, whatever. So I'm always waiting when they come in. Normally they wear like a sort of a scarf over it to cover it in the shul, fine. And I was so happily surprised as the doors opened and the color comes down. She's wearing literally up to here, over, like not just a scarf, she actually bought a dress that covered it, all the shoulders. I was like, this is amazing. This is like, you know, a wedding in Hanof. This is fantastic. She comes up, she stands underneath her chatan, and I'm quelling inside, like, no, did she listen to me? Like, she really took it to heart to dress in a very modest way. And then the music Eisha Chayil started, and she walked around her chatan. She was wearing nothing on the back. It was purely the front. I explained to her that, of course, you should also make sure it goes around the body. So
Sweet.
I think everyone saw my face, including the video guy, as kind of like serene, holy face, like a look of this. But I managed to kind of keep it calm. But definitely, people who saw me, I definitely turned a different color than I normally do. So that probably was the most embarrassing moment. And again, no one's fault. I mean, I didn't make it clear to her, and it was a wonderful chuppah. And but again, it would always stick in my memory as that time where, you know, in front of everybody, I kind of turned a different color.
Different shade. Brilliant. Let's move on to the rabbis in general, or the kind of the rabbinics in general. Role of the rabbi. How do you think that's changed? I guess you touched on it a little bit beforehand, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you know, over the last 20, 30, 40 years, how has it changed? If I can ask it differently, if you were to bring a rabbi back from the dead from 200 years ago, what do you think they would be most shocked by or most surprised by?
Well, it depends who you brought back, but I think look, I think certain rabbis were way ahead of their time. And again, the person I always quote a lot in terms of in the past was Shimshon Raphael Hirsch. I think he saw, you know, with his 19 letters and these sort of books, what was happening to the community. So he was definitely well ahead of his time, understanding the need to change how things because of the community we have. But I think what's changed, you know, it used to be very much that a rabbi's job was, we joke, hatch, match, and dispatch. You know, he was there for the pastoral, for the births, for the Brit, for the mitzvah, the life cycle events. And of course, he was there to be a support to the family. But I think as Anglo Jewry has become, you know, more polarized in terms of, yes, it's got more frum, but it's also got less connected. The job of a rabbi now is to really be like a CEO, to kind of, and probably not just one, you probably need multiple rabbis in the company, to try and really create programs, think out of the box. How can we bring people in? How can we make people comfortable? Again, the younger generation, they don't know as much as the older generation did. So it's a matter of how do you educate them in a way that's meaningful, relevant. So I think a rabbi's job is now, yeah, again, I definitely when I was at Stanmore, you know, my rabbi's job meant I had to be a tour guide, a script writer. I had to be, you know, all these different things that you know, were not in my smicha course. Is to be able to do my job properly, I had to be able to create programs that, you know, organize all this stuff, which again, I think was so much part of our success at Stanmore, was that I was able to do, we as Rabbanim can do, not just simply just give a shir, just give a drosha. We've got to be able to do more things than that.
Well, very, very, very true. Yeah, I totally hear that. I'm going to ask one more question, if that's okay.
Of course.
And that is, do you think rabbis in general are undervalued? It's a loaded question. What can I say? You know, it's a
very loaded question. Look, I mean, I'm honest to you, Rabbi Fine. I think one of the things that both of us share, but I think you even more than me, is a work ethic. I think rabbis are respected if they work hard. I think one of the worst things that I've heard, I worked in a synagogue for a long time, still kind of work in it, in various areas, still work with United Synagogue very much. But I think one of the most upsetting things to hear from Balabatim, thank God not often, was, oh, my rabbi doesn't work hard, he doesn't do anything. Now, some of those times that was just not true. And it's very hard sometimes, we don't see what a rabbi does. He broadcasts the people he's counseled or the homes he's been to or whatever it is. But I think the most important thing is that I've always felt the rabbis that I've really appreciated, because I said, wow, they work hard, they create amazing things, they just really give us a community. They are always appreciated by the communities. And I think generally rabbis are appreciated. I think we're quite good in this country, actually, of appreciating our rabbis. Be better, of course it could, but I also feel as well that I didn't feel that I was owed respect. I felt I had to earn it. And I also felt I took my job seriously, didn't take myself seriously. Like, I think sometimes we as rabbis, like, it's beneath us to do X, Y, and Z, and it's not. The Kohen Gadol used to sweep out the ashes from the altar, like, it's the Kohen Gadol. So, like, for us as rabbis, sometimes we have to get and do stuff that is not rabbinic, but it's also part of the job being a rabbi in the modern age. So I think we earn that respect by acting in a way that shows people that we care and that we are, passionate about our job, and people respect that. So that to me is I guess what we have to do as well as Rabbi.
Beautiful. Rabbi Shaw, thank you so much. Thank you for
Pleasure.
your time. Always a pleasure.
Likewise, and as I love to my dear community, which again, I say to many people, I can leave Stanmore, thank God never leaves me. So,
Amazing. Keep up the amazing work.
thank you. I think you too.